We changed up the format a little bit. We are actually so blessed and honored to have different authors that are coming on to read their own stories and their own books in their voices. So today's no different. I am very just so thrilled to have Albert Monreal Quihuis here. He's an award-winning author of the Sofia and Pepe the Parrot adventure series. He writes multicultural books to inspire children to learn more about their culture, their traditions, and their history. And what he is doing by writing these stories is he's helping our community, our kids, feel proud of their heritage. Throughout his stories and readings, he encourages young people to further their education and he lets them know that there's no reason why you can't do what you set out to accomplish. He pays tribute to his ancestors, our ancestors, and he brings to light the challenges and sacrifices that our families and that our communities have had to make. Welcome to Reading Ritual with Miss Carmen. Al, thank you for joining us today. I can't wait to hear what book you're going to read for us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and I really appreciate this opportunity to share my stories. It's, I never thought I would learn to be a writer or even would start writing, but you write from your heart, the secrets of your soul, your life experiences, and then your own imagination. And this is my second book in the series. It's called The Search for the Lost Art of Making Tortillas.
I have
And
it right here.
many times I have just the name of the title, people would start laughing, and they can relate to it right away.
Oh,
And you probably thought, like, why would you write about this? Well, it's because it has become a lost art. My grandmother, um, she was a hardworking woman, and she did everything to survive and to care for her kids. Her biggest goal was to make sure that all of her children graduated from high school, because she never had that opportunity. And so she made tortillas every day, and she even had a little restaurant inside their house where she would make these tortillas. She had a couple of tables, and when the train stopped and people got off and they were looking for something to eat, they would say, "Oh yeah, go down to Margarita. She'll help you." So that's why I felt it was so important. And then uh, my mother made tortillas less, and then my daughter or my sisters, they think just going to Costco is making tortillas, and then my daughter is even, Dad, if I want a tortilla, I'll just go to the store and buy it. So it has become a lost art, but I know that, um, there's many people that I know that one of their biggest and happiest memory is getting that first tortilla off the stove and putting butter on it.
yeah.
And then
Or
there's
playing with the masa.
yes, exactly. And here, um, I live in the Phoenix area. There's a Tempe Tardeada, and they have one of their booths is that they give you a ball of masa, and then you have to shape it into the tortilla, a round tortilla.
Right.
And many people do a pretty good job, but there's a few of them that look like different states, like Texas or New Mexico, but anyway, it's all in fun, and I think it gives her a bigger appreciation of our traditions and our heritage.
That's wonderful. Shall we get started then?
Yes, Miss
Okay,
Carmen,
I
let's
can't
do
wait.
that.
Okay.
The search for the lost art of making tortillas. Gather around, everyone. It's time for another adventure story of Sofia and her beloved parrot, Pepe. It was a summer morning, and Pepe was in the living room, listening to the music on the radio and dancing to his favorite songs. One, two, cha cha cha. One, two, cha cha cha. Sophia walked into the room and she started dancing too. One, two, cha cha cha. One, two, cha cha cha. While not missing a beat, Sophia says, Hola, Pepe, ¿cómo estás? Oh, muy bien, says Pepe. Sophia continued to dance as she walked into the kitchen for breakfast, but stopped immediately when she saw her grandmother, Margarita, was sobbing by the stove. Abuelita, ¿qué pasa? Why are you crying? Says Sophia. I am trying to remember how to make corn tortillas so I could teach you, and just like my mother and grandmother taught my sister Maria and me, says Margarita. Oh, Maria left long ago, and I have not heard from her since, and I still don't think of her, and I think of her very often, says her grandmother. I'll turn the page. When she was young, our mother and grandmother brought us together to teach us how to make tortillas. Maria learned how to make tortillas, but I was more interested in playing than learning how. And now, older and wiser, I realize how important it is to learn to make tortillas to pass on the family tradition, said Margarita. So I hope you enjoy this picture. This is a picture of very authentic. My illustrator, Susan Kleckett, she traveled extensively into Mexico and the state of Oaxaca. And so these colors and uniforms are kind of very authentic. And you can see where uh, Maria is over there with uh, making the masa, and you can see that Sofia is out there playing with, or not Sofia, but her grandmother Margarita is playing with the dog. So we'll talk more about this picture, but this is the cover of the picture too. So it has a lot of information on it. You know, just a very beautiful uh, illustration that she made. So we'll get back to the story now. Sophia realized how important this was for her grandmother, and she didn't want to see her unhappy. So she determined to help her. Abuelita, says Sophia, I will help you find your sister Maria, and we will learn how to make tortillas too. Oh, gracias, gracias, says her grandmother. Sophia, you are always ready to help me, and I am always grateful to have a granddaughter like you. Oh, de nada, says Sophia. I am lucky to have a grandmother like you. So Pepe said, tortillas. Qué bueno, qué bueno. Going to the next page. A few days later, Sophia went to bed, and during the night, she had a mysterious dream. In her dream, a young Aztec princess appeared to her and says, Sophia, you come from a long line of descendants, and there are many things you need to know about your family's history and tradition. In a few days, there will be a festival in Zapopan, and you will travel there and you will learn about corn, our staple, the symbol that plays a major role in all aspects of our lives. Your ancestor and lived and for the corn, lived by and for the corn. Just as quickly as she appeared, she vanished. When Sophia woke, she sat there wondering, was this a dream or was it an important message that I need to act on right away? Well, Sophia knew that the only way to Sopopan was to take the train and she needed to leave the next day. She decided to call for information regarding the times of departure and the cost of the tickets. When she called, Juan, the ticket master, put her on hold, and at the same time, Sophia's grandmother called her. Sophia, please come, I need you. So Sophia told Pepe, Pepe, call me when the ticket master returns to the phone. And she left to help her grandmother. Shortly afterwards, Juan was back on the phone and says, Hola, this is Juan. May I help you? Let's go to the next page. And Pepe says, Hola, 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 how can I help you? Says Juan. Pepe says, Hola, hola. Juan replied, I am here to help you. Can you hear me? And Pepe said, Soy Pepe, soy Pepe. Oh, hi, Pepe. How can I help you? Says one. And, and Pepe said, Hola, so Pepe. Yes, Pepe. Do you need tickets? Can I help you? Says one. Pepe said, Tickets, tickets. Senor Pepe, this is Juan, the ticket master. How many tickets do you need? Just before Pepe could say anything, Sofia walked back into the room and shouted, Pepe, what are you doing? I told you to call me. Pepe, you are in trouble. Oh no, Pepe in trouble, Pepe trouble. Again. Sofia, let's go to the next page. And Sofia picked up the telephone and said, Hola Juan, this is Sofia. I would like to buy 2 tickets to Zapopan for mañana. One for me and one for my parrot, Pepe, whom you were talking to. Yes, senorita. I have 2 tickets reserved for you, says Juan as he shook his head in disbelief. Sofia told her grandmother she was going to Zapopan for the festival for the next day. Her grandmother says, it is a good idea to take Pepe. Be careful and don't stay late. Pepe says, Qué bueno, qué bueno. The next day, they all woke up early to go to the train station to board the train. All aboard, said the conductor. All aboard. And and away they went, traveling through the valley, by the lake, and over the green hills. When they arrived, they could see the center of the pueblo from the train station. They followed the large procession to the plaza, and they could see and hear the strolling mariachis, band, the ballet folklorico dancers, vendors selling food, arts and crafts, and storytelling. Everyone at the festival was celebrating and having a great time. Turn the page here. Sofia and Pepe brought several tamales to eat, and they walked over to Maria, the storyteller, where many people had gathered. And Maria started to telling the story of corn tortillas. She began by saying, This is the way our ancestors have made corn tortillas for over 1,000 years. And because of our changing times, many people have forgotten. Or simply put, they would rather buy their tortillas. So it is becoming a lost art. She continued, during the day, our ancestors would gather corn from the fields, and at night they would mix the corn, the maize, water, and lime in a pot. They would bring to a boil and let it set overnight. The lime helped remove the skin from the corn and make it more nutritious. After this process, the corn is called nixtamal. In the morning, they would cushion their knees with a blanket and start grinding the corn with a grindstone, a matate, and a grinder, a mano. After grinding the corn into the dough, masa, they would shake the finely ground corn into a ball and with their hands put the masa, flattening and spreading it into a circle into the size of a corn tortilla. Next, they would put the tortilla on a large griddle, a comal, which is the top of the wood burning stove. The tortilla is turned over several times until it is cooked. This has been the traditional way of making corn tortillas for thousands of years. As her story ended, everyone applauded and thanked Maria for her wonderful stories. The story of tortillas was making everyone feel hungry, and they rushed to buy their basket of freshly made corn tortillas. I'll turn the page. Meanwhile, Pepe noticed a very beautiful parrot. Right away, Pepe introduced himself. Hola, soy Pepe. And she says, Hola, Pepe, soy Lola. Oh, Lola, qué bonita, says Pepe. Pepe liked Lola and Lola liked Pepe, but it was getting time to go home. So Pepe had to say, Adios, Lola. And Lola says, Adios, Pepe. Nos vemos. Nos vemos, Lola, says Pepe. When they arrived, Sofia was happy to see them home safe. Sofia, Abuelita, look what I bought you. A basket of freshly made tortillas. Oh, thank you, says Sofia, says her grandmother. I love freshly made tortillas. Sofia continued to tell about her trip and about Maria, the storyteller. Turning the next page. A few days later, Sofia had another dream. Another Aztec ancestor appeared to her. Sofia, she says, in order to continue your search, you must follow the Cape Milagro River to the jungle. Walk the path of the jaguar to the lagoon, and there you will find a cave behind the waterfall, and inside you will find your answers. God, would you do that? Would you take that trail?
Absolutely.
Once again, when she awoke, she sat there and asked herself, was this a dream or was it an important message that she should act on? At the same time, she looked at Pepe. Pepe was sleeping and he was having a dream too. In his dream, he kept on repeating, Lola, Lola. And Sofia said, wake up, Pepe. Ever since you returned from Zapopan, you keep on having the same dream. Lola, Lola. Pepe said, oh, Pepe likes Lola. Sofia told her grandmother the dream and that she needed to go to the lagoon. There she would find the secret cave behind the waterfall. Sofia, says her grandmother, yes, you can go, but be very careful and take Pepe too. Pepe says, qué bueno, qué bueno. Go to the next page. Sofia and Pepe left early the next morning using the canoe. First, they paddled along the Que Milagro River to the jungle, and then they walked the path of the jaguar to the lagoon until they were finally reached the secret path that led to the cave behind the waterfall. As they made their climb to the cave, they could hear the sound of cascading water growing louder until they were passing through the water mist. The closer they neared the cave entrance, the darker it became. And Pepe said, oh, Pepe's scared. Pepe's scared. But Pepe's a big boy. He's a big boy. Sophie and Pepe began to walk slower as they walked into the cave. Inside the cave, Pepe kept on saying, Pepe's scared, but Pepe's a big boy. Suddenly, from the back of the cave, they could hear someone shouting back, oh, big boy, big boy, big boy. Pepe asked, who's that? Again they heard, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Pepe was now really scared, so again he shouted, Pepe, big boy. And again they heard, big boy, big boy, big boy. And just when Pepe was ready to say, Pepe, go home, Sophia said, Cálmate, Pepe, you're talking to your echo. Pepe started laughing. And just when he was ready, the echo says, Cálmate, Pepe, Cálmate, Pepe, Cálmate, Pepe. Oh, now Pepe was brave again. And he puffed out his chest and he said, Pepe, big boy, Pepe, big boy. Okay, let's go to the next page. The two kept moving towards the back of the cave, and when they saw the light coming from another room, they were moving closer when someone jumped up and says, who are you and what are you doing here? Sophia and Pepe were startled, and they jumped with fright. Again, the elderly woman asked, what are you doing in this cave? Pepe told her, Sophia told her of her dreams and her quest to learn how to make tortillas. The elder woman says, I am the keeper of the lost secret, and because you have shown me yourself to be worthy, to be given the dream, I will teach you the art of making tortillas. Sophia said, you look so familiar. Oh, are you Maria, the storyteller that we met at the festival? Yes, I am. and I remember you and Pepe too. Let me gather a few of my things and we will go, says Maria. Turning the next page. Shortly afterwards, they left the cave and started their journey to Sofia's and her grandmother's house. Just as they arrived at their house, Sofia's grandmother, Margarita, was coming from the mercado at the same time. Sofia ran to greet her abuelita. Guess what? Guess what, abuelita? I found someone to teach us how to make tortillas. Sofia said, this is Maria. She is the keeper of the lost art of making tortillas. And Maria, this is my grandmother, Margarita. Maria and Margarita looked at each other at the same time. And Maria says, Margarita? Margarita says, Maria? Then they ran to each other in embrace with tears in their eyes. Margarita said, Sofia, this is my sister Maria, whom I have not seen for many years. Sofia ran to hug them both, and Pepe said, oh, Pepe loved too. Then he flew into Sofia's shoulder and spread his wings to hug everyone. After a long hug and many tears, Margarita says, Maria, I was missing you so much. And Maria says, me too. Let's always stay together. Yes, said Margarita, we will always stay together. Pepe started thinking of all of this love and hugging was making him hungry. Says Pepe. Pepe hungry. Pepe hungry. Sofia says, Pepe, you are always hungry. Just then they all looked at each other and shouted at the same time, let's make tortillas. This was Sofia and Pepe's adventure. With Sofia's determination, her mother was happy again, and Pepe, of course, had help too. Sofia looked at Margarita looked at Sofia and says, thank you, Sofia, for helping me find my sister and bringing us together again. You have made me the happiest person. This made everyone happy. And Pepe said, que bueno, que bueno. That's it. Thank you.
What a lovely story. And the surprise that happens. I love that. Thank you so much for reading that to us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Al, if you could, what's the number one message besides discovering the art of making tortillas? What's the number one message that you would also say is included in the story when you were writing this and developing the characters and the idea? What was the motivation for the story behind, the behind the scenes?
Yes, yes. So obviously the tortillas, making the tortillas, and when I first met with my illustrator, I was thinking, man, maybe we should consider the flour tortilla versus the corn tortilla. And she convinced me, no, we need to do the corn tortilla because that's has always been there. And so I was able to use the metate and the mano in there, which here in Arizona, it was Native Americans that lived here hundreds of years ago. You can find them still around today. So I thought there more of a historical value, in doing it that way. Also, too, the sense of Sofia wanting to help her grandmother. She realized her grandmother was forgot how to make tortillas, and she was missing her sister. And her determination to help her grandmother, to be happy again, happy, and that was really important. So I think that's kind of cool. Another reason why I wrote this story was that my friend, actually someone from one of my young readers from the first book says, I always like a story where people are looking for something, and so I kind of use some of these ideas that people, and that's what I do in the classroom after I'm done reading. I always say, like, do you have something, that you want me, an idea that you want me to write about in my next book? And so I listened to them. And so this was the person, she said, like, she's like the idea of looking for something. And that's kind of how, this book was created.
Right.
So,
No, that's wonderful. And I know that you've got other books in the series, and maybe we can have you come back as well. But in the meantime, where can people connect with you if they want to know more about your stories and your books?
right. So you can see my name on there. So that's how my name is spelled. And so if you go on Facebook, you will find that. And also my website would be thatname.com.
Okay.
You can go there. And my email is a with my last name, Quihuis at msn.com. So
Okay.
those are the different ways. And if you can't find that, then I'm sure Miss Carmen can help you,
That's right.
direct you.
And
Yes.
as always, we love it if you would like and share these videos, and we'll put that information as well. And if you have any questions or comments about the search for the lost art of making tortillas, or if you want to learn more about Sofia and Pepe, you can contact right here below, and we'll have that information for you to connect. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
yeah, exactly.
sharing, for
Yeah, so I know this is like part of the adventure series, and
yes.
so I can't wait to talk to you more about which one I can read next.
Exactly. That's wonderful. Thank you for writing these stories. Thank you for honoring our culture and being so inspirational to not just myself, but everyone who is ever going to watch this video or pick up one of your books. Thank you for creating this. And
Well,
it's an
thank you.
honor to know
It's a pleasure. You
you.
know, it took me a long time to find my passion and my purpose, but you know, I really love what I'm doing, and I really like inspiring young people. So I think it's I've been blessed in that way. I'm really very appreciative. So thank you for asking me, Miss Carmen.
Thank you. And we'll see you next time on Reading Ritual with Miss Carmen. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Bye.